What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Passionate DJ Podcast. I'm your host, David Michael, and today we're featuring a special returning guest. His name is Mike Salone, but you know him better as DJ Axcess. He was on the show a while back, and today he's coming back to share not only some tunes with us, but also his thoughts on a lot of things, including the Machine Plus, which he brought in studio, the CDJ-3000s, which were recently released by Pioneer, what it's like to DJ a COVID wedding, and we also give my thoughts on different streaming services for DJs. Now, you can learn more about Mike by visiting his Instagram at DJ Axcess Music. That's DJ AXCESS Music, or by checking him out at djaxcess.com, where you can also find some of his videos containing tips, tricks, tutorials, and other things for DJs. You can also check out his show called the Columbus DJ Podcast, wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Now, today's episode features a very fancy YouTube version, which you can view by visiting passionatedj.com/211. And now on with episode 211 of the Passionate DJ Podcast. Welcome back, Mike. It's good to have you. We were just talking, it's been probably close to a year.
And we know that because of the midnight shirts, right?
Midnight
October.
Shirts, yeah. So, we've got the midnight shirts on sale. You can go to passionatedj.com/merch. We've got these, the classic logo tees on sale. We've also got the modern logo for the first time for sale. But we're here to hear some tunes from you and also kind of maybe later catch up with you and talk about what you've been doing. You've got your own show now. You've got a lot going on. So we'd like to know how you've been getting through this, the craziness of 2020 and all that. But right now, we just want to hear DJ Axcess do what he does, man.
Cool, man. I got nothing prepared, but there's a ton of music I obviously haven't gotten to play out. I think we're all kind of in that boat. So if there's some stuff that I think people need to hear, I'm going to, play it. It's not going to be, super tight or whatever, but I think it's going to be good. Everyone's going to enjoy themselves, hopefully.
So real quick, would you mind to just describe your setup to the audience? What are you playing on today?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I got the RANE 12s Mark 1s. I've had these since inception. I got 2 pairs of them. I'm probably the biggest fanboy of like this setup right here. Just for DJs who are, into performance, 4x2 pads on the cue points.
And you're styling too. You've got the DJ Axcess slip mats or covers.
Absolutely, yeah, man.
Show off the logo, real clean. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, got to shout out 12-inch skins, and any DJ can do that to their gear. They do face plates, they do records, all that.
Come back around, play some more tunes if that's cool with you.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right, buddy.
Time with glow sticks, whistles, hula hoops, and candy bracelets, not algorithms, were the law of the land. When it was all about peace, love, unity, and respect, not about loving a peace. When people weren't so easily triggered and all in their feelings. When people were wise and not so easily finessed. A time before social distancing, when only ravers and doctors wore masks. A time before digital, everything was analog. A time when what was played wasn't in the charts, because everybody knew the charts were controlled and manipulated by the industry. When music wasn't called EDM, but underground. A time when people were aware of the issues, not soft as tissue. A time when Corona was a beer and not a virus. Come with me on this journey. Back in time, 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 back in time. Everybody did it for the love of the scene. Not for the love to be seen. A time when sound and lighting guys took pride in their craft, not sabotaging DJ sets because of favoritism and racism. Rave culture, not canceled.
DJ Axcess live in studio. Thank you so much, man, for coming and sharing what you do with us and Passionate DJs. First of all, the thing that I have to point out is the Machine Plus. Okay, so you said, by the way, I brought the Machine Plus. I might want to talk about that. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. I didn't know. Yeah, that's awesome. And then you bust it out and you start playing these key matched, piano melodies and, bongo drums and all these things in a way that, honestly, at first I was busy running cameras. I didn't notice that it was you doing that. I thought it was in the track, which is the compliment, right, that you want as the DJ.
And what connects us all is that spirit. That's what connects us all.
Just to kind of explain what we're even talking about, the Machine Plus, and for those who aren't familiar with like Native Instruments gear, it's kind of like an MPC or something like that, where it's you've got beat pads and you can construct anything from a beat to a few samples to an entire song on the unit itself. But now historically, it's required you to attach to a computer. Can you tell me just like however much you want to talk about how you set up your machine, like your instrument banks and that kind of stuff for a live performance? Because I own a Machine Studio, which is kind of yours is like the standalone version that doesn't require it. It's the new fancy one. Mine still has to be tethered, but I've thought about sort of incorporating some live elements, so this is very inspiring for me personally. So I'd love to know what your approach is and how long you've been working on that, man.
Sure, yeah. So I got started on Machine when the Mark II first came out. I was always kind of I played drums when I was like really, really young, and then my dad and I would kind of fight over the kit. So he would obviously win. So I started to pick up bass guitar, and I've learned by ear, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, it's time to learn music theory. And I started diving into that. I'm like, this is boring. This is not what I like to do. And I mean, you're probably like me, David. Like, if I'm not interested in something, it's difficult for me to practice it.
Absolutely.
And get into it really deep. So, fast forward, I find DJing, and I want to. I don't, you guys see me, like, I don't want to be looking at the camera the whole time. Like, I want to be like, this is like the part that like scares me. So the more stuff that you can give me to play with, the more comfortable I am.
The less you think about it.
Exactly. So,
is that true in a live environment, or is that just with this whole live streaming? Is it cameras and lights, or is it people? Yeah,
because I mean, the crowd's got each other to look at most of the time, unless it's like a festival setting and I'm doing my thing. But when there's a crowd there, I don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, if someone's watching the stream, like, they're just watching me, so I can either interact, which I've gotten better at in the last few years. But before, when I was just doing, I was like, well, I'm just gonna give me more instruments to play, give me more drums, give me more scratches, whatever it is, to kind of add to it. But so I started with when the Machine Mark II came out, and then switched over to the Mark III, and then I was using that in live performances, but it was, I need a lot of space. I need 2 laptops, I need all this, a monitor, all that. So it was worth bringing it out to shows. And as soon as I heard about the standalone version, I pre-ordered it.
Solved a lot of problems for you there.
Exactly.
Eliminates a lot of wires and all that too. Yeah.
It looks nicer. It's nice not have to worry about it. Absolutely. With regards to how I kind of got started, using it in my performances, I was a drummer, so I started there. There's breakdowns in a lot of pop songs where you lose a lot of energy in the room. While if you can finger drum halfway decently, you can kind of bring that energy back in a way. Yeah. So I started with drums, started adding bongos because it was similar to drums, and it's kind of cool. Like, for some reason, bongos has like a very like hip element about it. Like, the crowd loves bongos.
Yeah. If you're gonna do something live, it's got to be bongos. Yeah.
So then started moving to piano, and then that music theory thing came back up again. But this is really, really cool because it does a lot of the music theory for you. So if you can understand the overarching principles, if you understand how mixed and key works, and you memorize the color wheel. I've since lost my memorization. I used to have like what do they call an acronym? Ferocious cats, love dogs, and eat bears. airs was how I kind of understood where it was. And you always start on 4A, that was my F, and then once you got to I think it was 12A or 1A, that's when the sharps came in. So once you learn the mixed in key or the Camelot wheel, and the fact that this has all of your scales and kind of chords in there, once you understand what they do, man, you saw me, I was kind of messing around.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool because it was really like a jam session.
Make it move to the house. 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 You like the way my back moves. Make it move to the house groove. You like the way my back moves. Make it move to the house groove. You like the way my back moves. Make it move to the house groove. You like the way my back moves. Make it move to the house groove. You like the way my back moves. Make it move to the house groove. You like the way my back moves.
I have a piano history, so, but I had the same problem as you. Whereas, there were certain aspects of practicing that I just didn't enjoy, and so there are certain aspects of my playing that have gotten rusty over time because I haven't honed that craft the way that I have other things like DJing. That sounds like a sad story, like, oh, I never play piano. It's not that. It's that regardless, I've used that knowledge in so many ways.
Oh yeah, you produce music, obviously.
Producing music, DJing, and jamming and stuff like that. You have an understanding to where you can use those tools to make something really cool and that actually makes musical sense and isn't just bashing around. And so I'm assuming there's some involvement of setting scales or arpeggios on the machine, and you kind of have to know what that means. If I'm setting a augmented chord, what is that going to do to the song that's playing? And so being able to understand that lets you, then you have kind of like a canvas to do something with that sound.
Absolutely. And then the nice thing is with those scales, I only have 16 pads here, which if you're using the chromatic scale is not a lot to work with. But as soon as I turn that on to say the minor pentatonic or the major pentatonic, now I have like 3.5 scales to work with. And it makes it easier to jump around and use the notes that I want to use. So it does a lot of stuff for you. Like I'm about 45 to maybe 46 minutes into playing around with this. I turned it on. I loaded up my samples and my packs, my kits from the other machine that I had. So you're literally watching me find the bongo kit, find the drum kit, find the piano. So I have a little bit of but none of that's set up. Like it took me probably longer than it should have to find the reverb on here for those bongos. And it doesn't always sound great. I know that, I'm listening back too, but the more you do it, the more you practice, the more fun it is. And hopefully, it's not about like how good it is, using the skills and kind of showing other DJs that, you can do this too. I'm very, very basic into music production, music theory, but I'm still able to make, some of that stuff sound okay, I thought. So
it was amazing.
Notice, I'll take it. Yeah, thank you.
Very like deep house vibes and stuff. I really liked the chord choices. That was cool. I guess my question is, were you using the machine gear before? Were you using it kind of in that standalone way? And what I mean is, machine will let you either put hands on knobs and switches, or it will let you go to the keyboard and mouse and just click around. So was there an adjustment curve for you, or were you already doing that?
Kind of already doing it. So
because you seem like really familiar with the surface of that thing,
Yes, on the surface, absolutely. Because like I said, when I'm doing performance stuff, I don't want the laptop open. So you set that up, and then when you get to the show, you can kind of close your laptop and navigate around. It does have 2 screens. They're not touch screens, but they do get around. And actually, you brought up the MPC. While I was waiting for this, because I had it pre-ordered, I was doing some research and found the MPC Live 2, which gives this thing a battery, a 7-inch touchscreen, and a speaker. So I was in bed, I was on the couch, I was outside, just trying to get familiar with it. And if it hadn't, unfortunately, the workflow's not as good as Machine. But had it not been for that, we might be talking about the MPC Live 2 today.
Yeah, I'm less familiar with MPC gear than I am with Native Instruments stuff. But the thing I've always loved about NI is that hardware-software integration is always, to me, it just clicks. It's always really smart and gets out of your way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool that they've finally brought this into standalone land. And I'm sure that DJs are screaming for we want the tractor version of that. The S8 version.
We're always screaming about something.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's safe. Is it safe to talk? I think it's safe. Here we go.
So while Mike's playing some tunes, let me just take a quick moment to talk about a few things that Passionate DJ has going on. So right now in studio, I have a Denon DJ SC6000 Prime player, which I'll be doing some YouTube videos about very soon. Also, I recently finished a video which should be published, well, probably any day now, which is a massive comparison guide between the brand new Pioneer CDJ-3000 and its predecessor, the CDJ-2000 Nexus 2, and also comparing it to the Denon SC6000, which is its most direct competitor. Now that video will be coming to the YouTube channel for the DJ Hookup, so go over there and subscribe and hit the notification bell on the DJ Hookups channel because, well, sometimes I publish videos over there too. And just a reminder of a few great resources that Passionate DJ has out there for you. Our most popular piece of content is my guide on how to become a DJ. You can get to that by visiting passionatedj.com/howtodj. Now you can read that as an article or you can watch it as a 9-part video series. Now also the holidays are coming up, so if you're looking to buy a gift for maybe that special DJ in your life, maybe this would be a good time to check out the Controller Compendium. Now this is my massive DJ controller guide where I compare the top 7 controllers in several different price points so you know how to spend your hard-earned money.
I just want to say, if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing up here, you want me to elaborate or do something again, just let me know. I'm here to help. We can talk about it after this. Like I said, these are just some songs I've downloaded. Haven't got to play them this year, so I hope you dig them. Big shout out Passionate DJ.
You're running the machine into what, an auxiliary channel on your RANE mixer? Is that how it's working?
Yes. So I got two quarter-inch cables going into my RCA, which has its own dedicated input and output on the mixer. It's really helpful.
Okay, great. So you're that's cool too because now you've got the CPU load and all that stuff you don't have to worry about anymore. You don't have the separate laptop to worry about. So it simplified the setup. That's really cool. So you're just running Serato over here, and I assume that somewhere along the line you've keyed your tracks or something so that you know where to aim the machine when you're jamming, or else that would have sounded horrific.
You got
otherwise.
It. You got
Okay.
it. I mean, or I'm just sitting here like going dun, dun, dun. Nope, not that one. Dun, dun, dun. Not that one. So
you
yeah,
just tune it.
Key. Yeah, mixed in key is a godsend, and I mean GJ should know about that. But if you don't, definitely check it out.
And what other gear did we want to talk about? We're kind of on the gear. I feel like there was something else that we brought up. Well, there's
CDJ-3000.
The 3000s, sure. Yeah, they're to your left over there, kind of out of the camera shot. Yeah, they were supposed to be back by now, but luckily I talked our friends at the DJ Hookup into to leave them here another week or two, so we can do a few more videos and stuff with them. Have you had a chance to see? Is this the first time you've seen them?
This is the first time I'm seeing them in person.
Cool.
I had to. the turntables to me had to touch the platters a little bit. They're buttery smooth, so I wonder how that translates, when you're actually working with tracks. I would love to try that a little bit later. But Pioneer knows what they're doing. They gave me my 8 cue points, which is what I really wanted. We talked about this on our show a little bit. We were thinking that maybe they'd add a second USB slot just because back-to-back DJing and switchovers are becoming so common. But maybe they think that at their level, this isn't really for like the home or the club DJ. This is for like in-house installs and festivals only, where you'd have 4. So you'd have to have 4 DJs up there in order for that to be necessary. So I get everything on here makes sense as to why they did it. Obviously, I can be picky and change things away.
Well, and once upon a time, that was more of a concern about Pioneer gear because there was such a gap between the flagship CDJ and what was affordable for home use, and that's just not the case anymore. I mean, Pioneer has something record box compatible in like at literally every price point, from the DDJ 200 or 400 all the way up to the RZX, which is like $3,000 all the way up and then you've got the XDJ players and stuff. So I mean, they give you every excuse in the world to get into the record box ecosystem if that's what you want to do. Or Serato, and they support all that as well.
And the best thing they've ever done is make it so any club you walk into, you find these. Like Laid Back Luke is trying as hard as he can, but I still haven't seen Denon's in the club.
Shout out Laid Back Luke.
Yeah, hey, if he's watching, that dude's awesome. But man, just if you walk into a club, you're gonna recognize these, and I hope you know how to play on them at least a little bit, because that's typically what you got no matter where you go, unless you're big enough to have your own rider. do you guys think? You ready to talk? Let's do it, man.
One thing I do want to ask you about is it's hard not to talk about the 2020 stuff.
Yeah, man.
Being that you have a lot of experience doing private events and mobile gigs and all that kind of stuff. How are you getting through 2020? Are you DJing? I mean, tell me how that works for you.
Yes, I've been DJing. Thank goodness for weddings and for all my wedding clients who are braving COVID and still able to have a good time in what's been probably the craziest year of all of our lifetimes. But
is there anything? Sorry to interrupt. Is there anything particularly difficult about DJing a COVID wedding?
Smaller guest lists. If let's say, I'm able to make 50% of people dance at a 300 person wedding, that's 150 people on dance floor. That's a rockin' dance floor. At a 100 person wedding, 50 people, that's less. So
yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, people, and then just managing everyone's level of comfortability, right? I think I'm taking the virus more seriously than most people that I run into, and so just managing that. Not everyone is like me. Some people have more comfortability, some even have less. So managing that, I passed a mic with a Clorox wipe, and the first wedding I did that at, I could hear people kind of laughing at me. It was down in Tennessee, so take that as you will. But I think people are getting used to it, and it doesn't really bother me very much. I just want to prove to my clients that I care about them, right?
Right. It's there's been a lot. We've had to make adjustments here in studio too. When we set up for the podcast, if it's more than me and another person or me and a couple of the guys, it's like, well, there's a lot of chairs in here. So, we've taken the DJ booth and moved it back a few feet. We spread all the chairs out. Behind the camera, hiding in the wall there is a big exhaust fan, so I can run that every now and then. And I wipe down all the touch surfaces before anybody comes and when everybody leaves. And I usually send an email about this, and I think I forgot to send you one.
That's okay, man.
And it's the same thing, man. It's I want people to know that when they come here, that we kind of give a shit about that stuff, and so they can feel comfortable knowing that, hey, we're at least taking precautions, we care, and we're not just like sneezing all over the DJ gear.
Right.
Like that, right?
Motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Yeah. You know who's back up in this motherfucker. So blaze the weed up then. Blaze that shit up, nigga. Yeah. So
Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be thinking we soft, we don't play. We gon' rock it till the wheels fall off. Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be acting too bold, take a seat. Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey, smoke weed every day.
My boy Dax up in Canada.
This is a candidate for Song of the Year for me. I don't know what it is, but this one's just dope.
Ice on my neck, doesn't come in. I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Super speed Sonic, I'm running.
So I've done about maybe 10 to 12 weddings kind of since the quarantine and when they shut everything down. And there is like for DJs who aren't DJing, there is hope. 2021, get ready because there's a lot of clients both on the corporate side and on the wedding side who have had to move events, and people like, you know, me and other DJs are already booked, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for maybe if you're in that tier 2, tier 3 of booking, maybe your booking rate's not at 90%, but it's at like, you know, 60 or 50. There's a lot of opportunity to get these gigs, pass out your business cards, and really set yourself up for the following years. I think this has maybe killed a lot of DJ dreams, unfortunately. So there's probably a little bit of space in the market for people to grow. People are still having a great time. I'd say the first 3 to 4 weddings I did, and if you know you're a wedding client of mine, like ignore this part, it's all fake. But it was either really fun and no safety concerns whatsoever, or it was a lot of safety concerns and really not as fun. And I think now,
it's a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe in my last 6 to 7 weddings is where we're like, okay, you know, people are doing a better job of managing safety and having a great time. And I would love to see those guest counts get up a little bit higher for next year. And I've been joking on my Twitter, well, maybe not joking, but if you are going to request a song during COVID times, please just leave your mask up. That's what it's there for. I'll watch people like walk from the dance floor with their mask on, and you know, I get that little smile in me because I'm like, yeah, they care, like we're doing it, like we're gonna beat this thing. And then as soon as they get over to me, they take their mask down and just yell their request in my face, and it takes me completely out of what I'm doing. So
like, you'd almost be okay if they did the opposite of that, right?
Exactly. and DJs hate on the people who just, you know, they say, oh, they just shove their Spotify in my face. Do that, please. Please do that. That is, like, in my opinion, that's the safest way. I'm already going deaf a little bit. I don't want you yelling in my ear. I don't want you that close to me. Just take your phone, pull up it on Spotify. That way we're not getting requests for the birthday song when they really mean in the club. And then, you know, I'm not playing, you know, I'm not to stand the birthday thing, but I'm not playing like 2 Chainz when you actually meant Stevie Wonder. You know?
Right.
So it's just a lot easier.
All right, man. Well, I think you wanted to play some more tunes, yeah?
Yeah, man. I'll put another maybe 15 minutes and talk some more.
Yeah, do you want to take a bathroom break or anything? Or you want to just jump right into it?
DJs
All
are.
right, buddy.
I'll put on a 4-minute song. I'll be good.
All right, man. All right, have at it. Thanks so much for talking, man.
Of course, David. Thank you.
She said, I don't want no effecto, ha ha ha. And I say, no vexo, no vexo, ha ha. My baby don't vexo, my baby don't vexo, ha ha. And I say, no vexo, no vexo, ha ha. My baby don't vexo, ha ha.
On a crime with a dollar sign, money for my mind, yeah. Summon on the time for spend. Time for spend. I'm a style, put me on the map, me up on the top. I'm in name, coffee swag a lot. Them a chat me on the time for them. Time for them. Yes, I'm wake up, yeah. Money make and I make up, yeah. Me go straight for the paper, yeah. Tell you wait, see you later. Mr. Pot, everybody look like what? Mr. First, and say how you look like that.
I need like the kalimba, like that's what I need to have on, like a kalimba or a marimba beat.
Everything we do, give thanks. Tell them what we do. Load the L, take the W. One thing they out there for you. I need now come if you no go. Everything we do, give thanks. Tell them what we do. Load the L, take the W. One thing they out there for you. I need now come if you no go. On the news, me in my prime, on the crime with the dollar sign, money for my mind. Yeah. Someone on the time. I'm a style, put me on the map, me up on the top. I'm in name, coffee swag a lot. She be tapping on the time.
Damn, this is fuck on the map. Give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on, hey, give it to them. Give it to them. To them, boom. Joanna, you're busy, body busy tonight. Mad, Joanna, making all the dummy tonight. Joanna, your busy body giving me life, oh, hey life, hey. Why you do me like Joanna, Joanna? Why you do me like Joanna, Joanna? How you gonna do me like Joanna, Joanna? Hey Joanna, Joanna.
Can't ball in a life, man.
Welcome. This is DJ Axcess live in Passionate DJ Studios.
What's up?
Changing it up a little bit, changing the styles up, getting into some hip hop and other kind of clubby stuff. That was pretty awesome, man. You got to like show off some of the scratching. And how do you like scratching on the 12s?
They're awesome. It's awesome, man.
Does it feel like tables to you, or?
See, I think it's better than tables, and I'm the only DJ that says that. I know. Tony's
Tony's smirking in the corner.
No, Tony's upset about it, but listen, that's just how I feel. It's how I feel. I'm not talking about anybody else. I kept my turntables because I was like, oh yeah, I'll still play on them. I got phase, I got this. I am a bad DJ. I have not touched my techniques probably since I got my second pair of 12s. So I have this is my going out set. I have my studio set. And ever since I had a studio set in place, I haven't touched my techs. They're just for other people.
You're serious about this?
Yeah, like I said, it's all about what you feel, right?
Yeah,
it's your stuff. It's the way you DJ. It's all about how you feel. And to me, I didn't start on turntables. I started on CD players. I learned turntables after the fact, so I don't have the nostalgia or the attachment that I think a lot of other DJs do. And not that that's a bad thing, obviously.
Sure.
But this is what feels best for me, and I encourage other DJs. Don't worry about what other DJs are doing. Do what's best for you.
Nice, man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only said the road and me go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing, and you know it formed out to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic, say I sing, yeah, see me all diggy soon get the higher ring like hello, bro. Time say I just shot ya.
I don't know if anyone else struggles with this when they're streaming, but I feel like you take a lot of cues from the crowd, when you're picking songs. So you'll see me as I'm in my computer, I'll look up and just see you guys. I'm like, oh yeah.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about what you've been up to since the last time you were here. Specifically, I'd like to ask you about, one major thing that's happened since you were here last is you have your own show. You've kind of become your own content creator.
I was inspired. Inspired by you guys.
No, please. I mean, you're doing great things. So tell us about what you've got going on.
Sure. So we call it the Columbus DJ Podcast. So we really wanted to be creative with the name and and then how we wanted to approach it. But it's myself and DJ Corrupt. For if you don't know, I mean, if you're in Ohio, you probably know DJ Corrupt. But if you don't, DJ Corrupt is probably Columbus's #1 traveling DJ. He's a scam artist. He's put out a number of records.
Also former guest on the show.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah. So he was doing his thing. 2019 was a fantastic year for just for him just traveling around Miami, Vegas, California, Arizona, just doing his thing. And now he's most DJs who are DJing now, he's kind of become the primary guy at his local spot, not traveling as much and just making sure that place stays afloat. And I got to give credit to Dahlia. They've done a really nice job of not only just surviving COVID, but making sure that they're providing a great environment for people to party. Is it the safest? No. I mean, it's still a party, right? It's still a level of risk, but they are trying their best, right, to make sure it's a safe environment to party.
Yeah, everything's a calculation now, especially for business owners. It's how do we stay afloat and how do we keep people happy and still be as safe as we reasonably can?
Absolutely, because you still got to party. I don't care what's going on. You still got to party. Whether it's virtually, whether it's in person with a mask on, you got to party.
So what is kind of the concept behind the Columbus DJ podcast? I mean, are you trying to interview DJs, or what's your kind of goal with the show, or has that How far into that are you? Like,
Yeah,
do you know what the vision is?
Yeah. So our original mission statement is just we want to share stories and advice of the DJs of Columbus and the surrounding areas.
Awesome.
So we've had DJs from Cleveland in here. We've had DJs from Cincinnati, but primarily our guests have been from Columbus. We typically feature 2 DJs per episode. Hopefully they have kind of a similar thing that they want to talk about, whether they're producers or whether they're promoters or just, wedding DJs. We try to do it like that. And then my focus is really on just getting the information out there because that's what we can give back as DJ. You guys know it's the Passionate DJ podcast. Like, I think ours is mostly centered around advice and then just sharing stories of DJs from Columbus.
That's awesome, man. When did it start? Like, how long's it been running?
Right after quarantine. So this is something I always had, like, noodling ever since I came on the show with you guys. I was listening to a ton of DJ podcasts. Shout out the Road podcast. Shout out Mickey D's podcast, and obviously Passionate DJ. But something I had milling, didn't really have time for it with all the gigs, and then boom, I have all this time all of a sudden. So called up Corrupt because I thought he would be a fantastic partner. He's far more into the club game and the traveling world than I am, and I kind of bring the corporate and mobile side to things. Obviously, I still do clubs, but not nearly as much as him.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting time to decide to become a content creator for something that kind of requires people to be able to go out, right? So there's pros and cons to that, right? That we've learned here that in some ways creating content has gotten a lot easier because most people are more flexible with their time right now because everybody has to be flexible with all their time because we have no choice. So it's just kind of a thing now. And so it's made it easier for, like, Tony schedules all the interviews and it's made it way easier for that to happen than it was ever before. Even if we have to do a lot more Zoom and or spread people out several feet in here when we're talking or whatever, that stuff makes it tricky. But the time slots have been a lot easier to lock down.
And actually, if I can speak to that a little bit, David, I think like it's our podcast isn't as well produced as your guys' is. Like, so we do almost all of our interviews over Zoom. So it's made that even easier because I don't have to worry about getting people over here, setting up the studio. So I commend you guys for still doing that and making it a safe place to do it. But it's
nice because everybody knows how to use Zoom now too. Yeah, so you don't have to teach them where we used to have to do that before. It's like, okay, now make sure that you mute this and turn your audio settings to this, and now everybody's just kind of with it.
I thought it was hilarious. I saw some meme about like Skype having blew a 16-year head start. Like, everyone had Skype back in the day, and then pandemic happens, right, and all of a sudden Zoom pops up and takes over. Like, Skype's got to be kicking themselves right now.
Yeah, I mean, where the fuck should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark.
So now that the CDJ-3000s are out, what are you both most excited for on the horizon?
Hardware-wise?
Hardware-wise.
I don't know if excited is the word, but I'm really anxious to see what is coming next for Tractor, if anything, hardware-wise, because what is the next fancy Control S8 type thing, okay, and is there going to be is there a future in standalone Tractor, or is that just something people are going to complain about eternally? Is there, because I'm a long time, and Tony is too, just long time Tractor fans. Yes. I'm very confident in Tractor, and I know all the problems that Tractor has right now, that all the complaints are valid, but that's just where I love to live.
Sure.
And so I would love to see some innovation in that space. At the same time, I'm pretty easy to please. I think that feature bloat is a thing.
100%.
And people are putting more whiz-bang knobs and switches on things because they have to stand out. Which is actually not what the 3000s are, really.
No, I agree with you.
The 3000s are more like it's the next iteration of the standard, and use it or don't. But you're going to use it,
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about is, it seems like there's Wi-Fi and streaming on an awful lot of stuff that's coming out, and then Beat Source and DJ City are doing their thing. I wanted to get your opinions on that, because not a lot of the DJs that I talk to in my circle either haven't really heard about it or aren't interested at all, and I think you might be.
I'm mildly frustrated because I'm, like many people, just a daily Spotify user. And so initially Spotify started integrating, it was with Algorithms, DJ software. They brought in Spotify integration, which I thought was a really smart move because it was like, okay, now I can kind of preview and mix and DJ songs that I might not necessarily want forever. I might want it for a set or a moment in time. That's how I DJ. And so not every track is like, if it's something that's that important to me, I want to own it physically and put it on the wall back here.
Sure.
So that was great for me. And then for whatever reason, Spotify said, nah, we're not doing that anymore. We're cutting off third-party API access for music apps, and we're not doing that anymore. So it's like, okay, now I got to get another subscription to another service, and I got to pick, it's like format wars. I got to pick which one's going to be the winner in the long run, what's going to be the best option for the type of music that I play.
Sure.
It's just, I think it's inevitable. I don't think that, it makes me feel like a dinosaur to DJ with digital files now. Like it's almost, we're past that.
Wow.
We're not past that, but it feels weird to me because in every other aspect of life, we're past that.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth. So what I'm understanding you saying is like you feel like we should be further along within the streaming.
I'm
Wi-Fi.
surprised it's taken this long.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So the RANE 72s, are you using a lot of the Serato effects, like with the paddles and stuff?
Absolutely not.
No?
That's the one thing about Serato where like I think if I wish they would talk to Tractor about the effects because I use the echo out, I use reverb, I use a break for censoring, and I'm pretty sure that's it. No delay,
I was wondering,
no spiral, no transformer, no nothing really. You can use these and do combo effects, but they just don't, in my opinion, sound that great, and they're a little bit more work to put together. And do you really? So I don't need that many effects. If I have my reverb, I do miss, and I do have my echo out, but I would prefer it to just be a regular echo. So if I'll kind of show you here. Hopefully it's not too loud. So I had, and this is a 3-button press. So when you're first, learning it, it's slow. But once you get it, it's double tap this, hit that. Oh, sorry. Hit that, and then now. No. There's my 2 count, 1 count.
Oh, cool. So you just have that assigned to so you just use the beat pads for your echo out.
You got it. Yeah. So you tap one, and it's a 1-button press. Whereas on the DJM, I would have to hit the echo and then do my own fade out. So having that on 1 button is nice, but again, it's tied to the grid in Serato, and the grid in Serato's gotten better, but it's still not at Tractor levels. I still find it, it messes up the grid on some tracks, and you can go in and edit it, but.
That's one thing that Tony and I spent a lot of time talking about is like the confidence that we have in Tractor's like quantization and stuff as far as looping. Like you click loop and it's like, okay, and we don't even think about it. You just know it's going to be there. And I never feel that same level of confidence on a CDJ. I don't care how prepped my track is, or I'm not. And that's just a me problem.
Nope, I 100% agree with you. I for the short time that I used Tractor, I was like, wow, this is reliable.
And it's been that, and for years it's been that way, like 10 plus years.
I think I got some, if you want me to play some tracks, and then I can get out of you guys' hair, let you guys... now, can we convince Tony to scratch a little bit? That's my favorite thing whenever I come over here.
Absolutely. We'll probably have to end the stream so that we can do some setup and stuff, but we can, absolutely. Maybe turn some cameras on, or you guys can just have some fun either way.
Cool. And, guys, I know Tony's monitoring the chat, so any questions in the chat, we'd love to talk about, songs, gear, gaming, anything like that. Let us know. Want the engagement. Thank you.
I've said it all. I've got a feeling we must have hit a wall here. And baby boy, please tell me like it is. 'Cause you talk love, but you never act on it. Because the driving is alive and honey, it is calling you. And I'm not trying to hide it, baby. I need more from you. Could you please respond to me, because I'll never understand. I give you the keys and why you gladly take them, you don't use them.
you guys were wondering where I'm going with this last set, this folder is called Dope Shit.
So could you please respond to me, because I'll never understand. I give you the keys and why you gladly take them, you don't use them. Why won't you tell me all the time, baby? I'm the light in your life, and you love me more each day. You are starting to drive me crazy. Why won't you realize you gotta love me right, baby? You can tell me all the time, baby, here right next to me. I'm the light in your life, and you love me more each day. You are starting to drive me crazy. Feel your body. Why won't you realize you gotta love me right, baby? You tell me all the time, baby. I'm the light in your life, and you love me more each day. You are starting to drive me crazy. Why won't you realize you gotta love me? I'm the light in your life, and you love me more each day.
Yo, I hope you can get down to this. If you can't get down to this, I don't know. Woo.
Why won't you realize you gotta love my baby? I want you to love on me, 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 love on me. You started to drive crazy.
Yo, I think it's funny because like DJs are like always working, right? Like music's always around. And I actually found that song at Brassica. I was grabbing lunch and I'm in line, and that song comes on, and I pulled out Shazam in Brassica.
More each day.
And it's like one of my favorite songs I've ever heard.
Crazy. However do you want me? However do you need me? However do you want me? However do you need me? However do you want me? Look, it's so heavy on the
Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 211 of the Passionate DJ podcast. Now, Mike did stick around in studio to do a bunch of scratching and have some fun with Tony. We recorded a bunch of that footage and put together a really fun video, which we're going to publish the second week of December. So make sure you go to the YouTube channel for Passionate DJ and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Keep on spinning.